Hello, my hoopy froods. This is Time Lord Rowan again. Nerdy references aside, yes, if you couldn't tell, I will be talking about the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy today. Yeah, I watched the movie recently and it was something. Yeah, it was something. Yeah, so I'll be comparing the movie to the TV show, giving a little mini review for the both of them, and then putting just sort of saying my opinion on the both. One of which I think is a great example of an adaptation from book to screen, and one is one of the worst adaptations from book to screen. It doesn't take a genius to figure out which one I'm talking about for each, but yeah, this might be a bit of a predictable video. Like, I try to stay away from, common, you know, Hitchhiker's Guide movie bad, TV show good, but I don't know, I just felt like talking about this and I felt like I had something to add here. Yeah, so enjoy the video. I'm rambling. Enjoy. Before we start, I would just like to mention how familiar I am with the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Now, obviously, because I'm reviewing it, I have seen the TV show and the movie. I've read the first book, and that is it. I have not read any of the sequels. I have not heard the radio thing. I've not played the video game. I think there's a video game. So yeah, that's all I'm going off. So we'll start off with the movie, shall we? So the most notable thing about it is the filler. In the centre bit, there's so much damn filler, and it annoys me a lot, because there's 5 books of stuff to work with, yeah, and they only do 1 book and then add a bunch of filler, which is utterly pointless. Like, there was no reason for them to do that. I know, it just annoyed me, and it didn't go anywhere either. Like, when they went to Vogosphere, or when they bloody met Hakuna Matata or whatever it is, like, there was nothing good in that bit. Like, there was no funny jokes, there was nothing really to add, except add some stakes for finding deep thought, but even then, they didn't really need that. Like, the book and the TV show worked perfectly well without it, without bloody Zaphod needing his second head. So that felt very forced and pointless. So, we'll start off with Zaphod Beeblebrox. I mentioned him earlier. I really didn't like his character that much. I think he was definitely the worst adapted. Like, in the previous mediums for this film, he was, sort of a bit full of himself and a bit wacky and stuff, but he still was reasonably nice and reasonably intelligent. He was, a bit lazy and didn't really care about much, but, he did have those qualities. While in this, he's just a jerk. Like, there's nothing beyond that. He's just unpleasant. And that really doesn't make for a good character to enjoy. It makes him, surprise, surprise, unpleasant, Yeah, so that was not a very good... I didn't like Zaphod. I'm not sure if it was the actor's fault that... Like, I'm not sure if that was in the writing or the acting, but something just didn't click with that. Although, I do think it was a good idea to not have the second head be as prevalent as it was in the TV show. I'll get back to that a bit later. Ford was reasonable. There was nothing exceptional about him, like there was with Ford in the previous TV show. He was just solid. There was a bit of a disconnect. Like, he always felt like he didn't really care or wasn't paying attention and stuff. Like, there weren't many scenes, especially in the latter half, where he's at the forefront. So, yeah, the actor was alright. Like, could have chosen someone better, but, like, it's not atrocious, Whatever. As for Arthur, he was just reasonable. It was good. Like, Arthur isn't a very hard character to portray, really. He's just a standard Englishman. Nothing too special about it. That's the whole point of his character. He's not meant to be special. So he was portrayed well, very good, and yeah, the standout for the cast was Trillian, in my opinion. Now, I've heard some people complain about Trillian in this film, but I really liked her. They actually gave her character for once. Wow, how incredible. That's good. She did stuff in this film, which was good, yeah. The performance was really good. I didn't like the love story they gave her with bloody Arthur. That didn't need to be there. That felt very generic and just boring. So I feel like they went a bit too far to compensate for the, I feel like if they just had a well-written character for Trillian, it would have been a lot better than shoehorning in some boring love story. The jokes were very poor. Very, very poor. They were, like, they're slapstick. They replaced all the good jokes from the book with slapstick. Like those damn fly swatter things, or the guy takes off his glasses and his eyes are tiny or something. That's not funny. Like, when you go to watch The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, you expect a certain level of Douglas Adams charm, which is not prevalent here. Yeah, the Vogons as well. I didn't like the Vogons in this. Like, I got the impression that from the book that they were just meant to be really unpleasant. Just, not evil, but just not pleasant people to be around, very bureaucratic and boring and stuff like that. So when they were just the all-out villains of the story, it didn't sit right. It didn't feel consistent with everything. And I do realise that changes do have to be made when adapting from a book to a film, but what I'm complaining about is there was no need to change it, because in my opinion the original was the best it's gonna be, so when you change it can only be worse, which it was. Yeah, I'm just reading through my notes here. It looked good. The special effects were good. Very solid, especially the shot with Slut Bartfast on Magrathea when they're like going through the planet building place. That looked good. Speaking of Slut Bartfast, Bill Nighy, phenomenal choice. He was brilliant in the part. Oh, and Alan Rickman and Stephen Fry, actually. They were all really good, really good. Quite standouts. As the Dom said in his sort of review comparison thing of this film as well, the final joke, though, it just goes to show how much they actually cared about having a faithful adaptation, which was very little, because they clearly didn't understand how the restaurant at the end of the universe or the improbability drive worked. Not at the spatial end of the universe, it's time. Now on to the TV show from 1981. I really like this. Performances were all around amazing. Again, the standout would probably be Zaphod Beeblebrox and Ford. They were really good as well. Really, really good in the part. Yeah, I did kind of trash on Trillian earlier from this series because there really is no personality behind her. Like, literally nothing. But you can tell that the actress was trying to add something. Like, she's not completely robotic. Yeah, it's funny. Marvin's got more personality than Trillian. I just thought of that then. But there wasn't much in the script. But the actress was trying to add something interesting and original, which I can appreciate. It's got very poor special effects, but that doesn't really take me out personally. I personally don't really care about poor special effects. At most, it will just get that looks bad out of me. But it won't make me dislike something, so it doesn't really bother me. It's quite similar to classic Doctor Who, except it's got a lot better pacing. Because they had to put 2 books into one 6-episode series, it is paced really well, and it's really concise, and it has, one joke right after the other. It is also the actual segments narrated by the guide. I didn't really talk about them when referring to the movie because they're just kind of average in that. But in this one, they really stand out because, first of all hand-drawn, which was really good. That animated things, they were like cram-packed with jokes, not just with what Peter Jones is saying. Yeah, it's Peter Jones. Sorry, I just had to check that because I wasn't 100% sure. But yeah, it's not just in the audio what Peter Jones is actually saying, but even just, in the little text and the little drawings and stuff, there are a lot of quite funny jokes. Oh, and Peter Jones, honestly, I think he's better as the guide than Stephen Fry. It's just such a charm to it, and the way he just says such alien concepts, so just so matter-of-factly. It's, great. He'll say something, completely outlandish, like the Pan-Galactic Gargle Blaster was a drink invented by Zaphod Beeblebrox, and it just has such a sense of realism to it. I find it really funny, which is good. That's what they were intending. They were intending. I slightly mixed up my words there a bit. As I mentioned previously, two books mashed into one. I think that was a smart idea. Better than adding a bunch of filler. Not to name names, but the movie did that, and it sucked. Yeah, that was pretty much it. I can't comment on the adaptation from the latter half, because I haven't read the book, but from the first half, it was pretty faithful. Douglas Adams worked on the TV show. He didn't. Well, he passed away before the movie was started being made. But with this one, you can really feel that this was a Douglas Adams story. It still had the charm and wit to it. To provide an example for what I mean by the intelligence of wit of it, for example, in the second half when there are supposedly the three ships going to the new Earth, and then the B ship is going first with all the middlemen on it and stuff, they never explicitly say that they're just trying to get rid of them so they can have the lower and upper classes. They never actually say that. It's all implied and within the subtext, and they just presume that the viewer is smart enough to catch on, which I really liked, because I wouldn't be surprised if, say, a modern movie or something did just kill the joke by over explaining it and thinking the audience is stupid. That's just to provide an example there, and I'm glad they didn't do that, and that joke was very well executed as well, which I felt it made it a really enjoyable show. I'll just say that. Yeah, that's about it. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all later. Goodbye. Bugger, I bumped my hand on my drawer. Ow.